Hello and welcome back to Shadowrun Dragonfall. We sort of got the lowdown a little bit, coming back to the office, to the hangout. We now are sort of free to roam around, so I guess that's what we're gonna do for a little bit here. Looks like Paul has something else to say, so talk to him first. Alice. Amsel peers at you apprehensively. His eyes are bloodshot, his expression grim. Did you get the information about Green Winters? No, not yet. Then please continue working. We need to find that man. Dietrich turns his head at your approach. His aging face is traced with a network of faint scars, the legacy of too many fights over too many years. While he still retains a degree of strength and vigor, it's obvious that the shaman you see today is a shadow of his former self. Despite all of this, there's still an aura of power surrounding the man. He raises his bottle, offering it to you. Alice, welcome. We've got a bottle of schnapps that needs sharing, and we've got a fallen comrade to drink to. Take the bottle. To Monica. Prost. The liquor in the bottle is clear, and as you raise it, you catch an intoxicating whiff of cloves and caramel. It tastes of sweet corn and walnuts, with a lingering aftertaste of buttery toffee. You swallow a swig, then return the bottle to Dietrich's outstretched hand. He takes a long pull off the bottle, then locks eyes with you. Let me ask you a question, Alice. What made you choose to come to Berlin? I don't really like any of these answers. So it's worth noting that I don't know the lore very well, but Berlin is notable because it is explicitly a city-state unto itself within the Shadowrun universe. At least during some periods, it's basically a standalone anarchic state, or so it likes to think of itself as. Mostly it's just a state of chaos and exploitation, real top-notch ANCAP stuff. Yeah, so we're deliberately here, and I think as we got a little bit at the beginning of the game, like, part of the reason people come here is either it's either idealistic or they're fleeing from stuff. They're in trouble elsewhere and want to start some sort of new life, even if it's, subject to lots and lots of chaos. Nothing in particular. Dietrich rolls his eyes at you. Oh, come on, boss. You're going to have to do better than that. Monica told me that you'd made a name for yourself in the Megaplex. Had your own team and everything. Leads a man to wonder why you packed up and moved here. I guess this is all flavor. It was time for a change, that's all. Oh, come on, boss. Nobody moves to Berlin without a good reason. No, I don't really like any of these. Somebody does. You're looking at her. Dietrich shakes his head at you, a wry smile on his face. All right, friend, do you want to play it Mrs. Mysterious? You go right ahead. I mean, it's bullshit, and it implies that you don't trust me, but if you want to be that way, I can't stop you. Oh, and now they're going to force me to choose. Sure, why not? I just had to drop out of sight for a while. Sure enough, I think that most of the team is here to hide from something. Not me, of course. Given the choice between hiding from something and punching it smack on the nose, you know which direction I tend to lean. But most of the others? Yeah, even Iger's hiding out from something. Really? How do you know? Intuition. Got a nose for damaged people. Of course, I've spent most of my life running with and playing for folks who were damaged in one way or another, so that might have something to do with it. So things got heavy back at the Ruhrplex and you decided to bail and head to Berlin. Am I getting that right? There's a bit more to it than that, but yeah. So you came on back to Berlin and to Monica. Dietrich raises his bottle again, then closes his eyes and takes a long drink. After the moment has passed, he returns his attention to you. It all comes back to our girl, doesn't it? Okay, so I was going to wait until the end of this conversation to say it, but I was just sort of pertinent here. This is very stilted writing by virtue of it's trying to get you to a certain conclusion, but it's giving you a very narrow illusion of choice, where it's like, if you've got a conception of what your character is like and what their prior experience has been. So I'm going sort of off how I played Alice in the, in the prior game. It doesn't really make sense for the way I played her or where she was or those sorts of things for her then to have like been in the larger like federalized Germany and then come to Berlin, or really to have known Monica. I don't know, it's like years apart obviously, but still it doesn't quite work and feels particularly, even if I wasn't sort of resisting it, it still feels pretty railroady. Not my favorite thing. So let me ask you, just what was your relationship with Monica anyway? I know that you two knew each other way back, but she was pretty coy about these things. We're treading into dangerously personal territory here. Are we? Sorry about that. Never been much for boundaries. All the same, I'd like it if you'd tell me. Dietrich shrugs. I always intended to get to know Monica better, but it's too late to ask her in person. I knew Monica well enough to know what you mean. She did have a mysterious way about her. This is a very weird conversation. So what was the deal between you two? Don't leave me in suspense. Well, man, the answers the game is feeding me are not really leading me to a quick conclusion to this conversation. It's very weird. We were friends. Right there with you, and privileged to say so. She was one of the best women I've ever known. Anyway, I've taken enough of your time, and the bottle's almost empty. Thanks for taking time to talk. For what it's worth, I'm happy you're here with us. I'm not sure I am. If Iger will chill the fuck out, maybe we'll have a time. Dietrich takes a final pull on the bottle, then tips it forward, pouring the rest on the ground. Hey man, somebody's got to clean that up. Rest in peace, Monica. We'll miss you, girl. Alright. What's up, Dante? No? Ah, there we go. As you start towards the safe house door, a large four-legged form steps around the corner. Dante, Monica's dog, an enormous mongrel of indeterminate breed. A low whimper emerges as he enters the room, head hanging low. Oh shit. Dante. Dietrich shakes his head. Don't worry, boy, we'll look after you. At the sight of Monica's dog, Amsel's eyes well up. He inhales but can't quite catch his breath. He started whimpering about an hour ago, turned into a full-blown howl. Wouldn't stop, just kept... He closes his eyes. That's when I realized something bad had happened. Looking down into those huge brown eyes, you see intelligence and sadness. He lets out a small whine and rubs his head against you. Scratch Dante behind the ears. Dante leans into you and looks up mournfully, pressing his ribs against your leg. Guess the dog is going with you, Alice. Amsel takes a ragged breath and releases it. Then a slow, melancholy smile plays across his face. Well, perhaps a part of Monica lives on in Dante. Return to the safe house when you're finished with Altug. What with Altug, mein Freundin? Meine Freundin. What is that? So this is a different weird friends. Huh. This is a weird... So, if you watched the previous series, towards the end I was complaining about the, like, weird, stilted, like, Germanic twinge in, like, the English that one of the characters was speaking, and it's how it was kind of bad. This is not as awful, but it is a little, like... You got to read the context clues, and they're not that strong. So it's a different thing. That was just like, hey, what if we spelled English wrong? This one is just straight up using German words. Which, fair enough, I guess. Makes more sense. With a little luck, he can help us locate Green Winters, and we can get to the bottom of this. He stares at the floor. And now I think we should all take a moment. His lips tight. For Monica. Well, Dante looks like a normal dog in his portrait, but on like, well, now I can't get him to rotate. His model looks like he's about the size of a black bear and has a head big, like head shape and size even bigger than a dog or a bear. It's I don't know who did the model of a dog and thought that was a valid dog, but seriously, not a great dog. Oh, that's to leave, I guess. Oh, he's literally following me. Yeah, there's just several things not quite right about that model. You know what? I was gonna leave Iger for last, but no, I think I'll talk to Iger before, so that she doesn't get all cranky and be the last person I talk to before I go have a bad run. Iger glares at you, and you can taste the bile in her stare. She clearly still blames you for Monica's death. Something I can do for you, fearless leader? I kind of want to be hard on her, because she's being completely unreasonable. I mean, even just calling me fearless leader is fucking not cool. I'll take the neutral answer. We need to talk about Monica. Not right now, we don't. Don't push me on this, Alice. One of these days we're gonna hash this out. You can talk all you like about the clusterfuck that killed one of my best friends, but it won't be today. Fair enough. Before I go, I have something else to say. You owe me an apology. You had no right to call me out like that in front of the team. She replies through clenched teeth. You want to step away from me, Alice. Right now. No, actually, I don't. Unless you intend to make me leave. It's tempting, Alice. It's really fucking tempting. But no, I won't hurt you. Not unless you give me a reason to. This is weird because it's sort of like an answer to a different question than I was able to give before, but I don't know what this it isn't going to happen as a response to anymore. So that isn't going to happen. You're wrong about me, Iger. I tend to prove that to you. She stares at you a moment, then looks away. Best of luck with that, Alice. Now please, leave me alone. Well, that went okay. Feel like she probably only responds to a strong personality, so I feel like that was the appropriate response. Continuing to, cow myself to her, or be cowed by her, I guess, is not how I want to have this relationship go on. If she doesn't shape up, reasonably quickly, she's going to become insufferable in very short order. Glory is beautiful in a waifish sort of way. Her features are almost elvish in their delicacy, but there's something cold about her that you find slightly unsettling. What's more unsettling is her chrome. Glory is rocking a heavy load out of cyberware. From head to toe, she looks to be composed more of plastic and metal than she is of skin and bone. In the shadows, individuals such as this are anything but uncommon, but Glory's cyberware is first generation, all of it. Bulky, invasive, practically museum pieces. This chrome was obsolete well before she was born. Alice? Glory shifts her gaze to you, but her expression is cool and placid as always. Can I help you? Well, that's interesting. I don't know what that option means. Use astral perception to read Glory's aura. Without shifting your attention away from Glory, you allow your consciousness to partially slip into the astral plane. As your third eye opens to the hidden world around you, you feel the familiar tingle of dormant senses awakening. The room that you're standing in slowly shifts to match its true nature, a lifeless expanse of gray, ugly, and cold. Your own body, however, explodes in a swirling chaos of scintillating color. As the astral plane shimmers into view, you focus on Glory. You can still see her with your corporeal vision, her delicate frame, the bulky cyberware that breaks her silhouette, the faraway look in her eyes. Belayed over the top of her physical body, there is a slight shimmer, her aura, damaged though it may be. The chrome that Glory is sporting has really done a number on her. Whatever she may have been before she went under the knife, her aura is now reminiscent of the room she's standing in. A cold, dead thing, mockingly sculpted into a facsimile of life. Somewhere within that mutilated aura, a shred of humanity awaits, but finding it isn't going to be easy. Suddenly, Glory's body language changes. The look on her face is somewhere between suspicion and alarm. I got something in my teeth? You're staring. With an aura this shredded by cyberware and surgery, it's going to take a minute to gather any useful information. Sure. Continue reading her aura. Just trying to figure you out, Glory. You've got a lot going on beneath the surface. I imagine that we all do, yourself included, and yet you don't find me gawking at you. As Glory speaks, you continue to focus, sifting through the void left by her vintage chrome to find the tatters of her original essence. Finally, you catch a glimpse of color, a flash of her true self, and behind it, something else. Okay, interrupting again. This is kind of weird because it's sort of treating this as though I'm meeting these people for the first time, even though we've clearly been working together for a little bit, so I don't know. It's very, very odd. In a reflexive panic, your third eye slams shut. The hidden world of the astral plane disappears from view, but an afterimage of what you saw remains, twisting in your mind. Glory is, or was, magically active. The shred of her essence that flitted past your vision left you sure of it. What's more, you'd wager she had real power once, terrifying power, of a sort that you can only guess at. All of this was surprising, but it was what you saw behind her aura that chilled you to the core. There was something connected to Glory's essence, a metaphysical tether stitched to the fabric of her soul. It reminded you of a leash. You can't say for sure what was holding the other end, but whatever it was enormous and ancient and cruel. And you can't shake the feeling that, as you looked into it, it stared back at you. Trembling, you find yourself back in the mundane world. Glory is still staring at you, her neutral expression ever so slightly tinged with annoyance. Well, that's really interesting. I was underwhelmed in the first game with the non-combat elements of of most of the game and most of the classes, but the fact that they make a whole big deal in the plot about a different shaman being able to sort of look into an alternate dimension and see the dead and emotions and these other things, and then there's nothing in that game that lets you capitalize on that in any way yourself, and no indication that anybody but that character can really. So for it to give me a skill check in a non-combat scenario is sort of unique for one. Yet another for it to have this much dialogue and what appears to be another dialogue option that's now available to me as a result. I have no idea if there are other, presumably there are other skill checks, non-combat skill checks attached to other skills that you could potentially have. So that is fascinating. I don't know if it would be completely missing from somebody who is not a shaman or just grayed out. But I guess we'll see in the future if there are any that are unavailable to me. We'll come back to that one. Hey Glory, how are you holding up? Don't worry about me, I'm solid. You sure? You look like you're a million miles away. I'll be with you when it counts. Right now, it doesn't. Any thoughts on what we should do next? Find our missing client, extract some answers. Beyond that, find another Decker. Monica won't be easy to replace. Best start looking now. I have a question for you, Glory, of the personal kind. I'm not big on sharing sport, personal reasons. You understand, I'm sure. The edge in her voice tells you that she's not interested in continuing this conversation. Sure, I understand, but I still need to talk to you. Glory lets out a weary sigh. Ask your questions, but do it quickly. I have things to do. Stare at the wall of the bathroom? Well, these do seem a little bit intrusive, but I don't know. What are they going to do? Alienate me from the team? I doubt it. You can't have started running the Shadows much more than 5 years ago, tops. So what's with the vintage chrome? It was cheap. It gets the job done. She shrugs. End of discussion. These are just mean. I don't think so. I've known a lot of street Sams in my time, but I've never met anyone who'd voluntarily install cyberware that old. You're right. There's more to it than I'm letting on, but I'm not interested in talking about it. Well, fuck it. In for a penny, in for a pound. I can't help but notice that you seem guarded, withdrawn. That's my problem and none of your concern. If what happened to you has impaired your ability to trust me, then it is my concern. Come on, Glory, talk to me. Trust is earned, and I don't know you yet. Maybe later, when we get to know one another better, we can talk. For now, I'd prefer if you dropped it. That's all I needed to know. Anything else you need? Yeah, I guess we'll go for it now. Surely this game wouldn't punish me for, like, doing this too early, right? We need to talk about what I saw in your aura. I knew this would happen. Look, my aura is my own business and none of yours, understand? These are some interesting potential responses. Agreed. But the thing I saw that was tied to your aura is as much my business as it is yours. It saw me, Glory. It saw you? That's what you're worried about? A shrill laugh escapes from Glory's lips. You'll be fine. Want to know my secret? It's been watching you for your entire life. You just never knew that it was watching until now. Some of us have bigger problems. For some of us, it takes more direct interest. But I fixed that problem years ago. She gestures down at the vintage chrome that riddles her small body. The interest is still there, but I can't do anything about it anymore. Not unless I let it. So drop it, okay? She pauses for a moment. The hard expression on her face softens. Look, I understand that you're trying to help me, and I appreciate it. I do. But I'm not ready to talk about this yet. Maybe when we know each other a little better, okay? Until then, just give me my space. Alright, you know what? That was super solid. I'm really happy with that. It adds intrigue, adds some detail to the character that is, you know, meaningful and has a bit of depth, but really we still get the sense that we're only scratching the surface of it. Gives me a lot of investment in Glory as a character and trying to find out more about her. Also gives me the sense that she's capable, competent, not unaware of, like, I was a little worried it was going to be some sort of, like, weird, like, metaphysical slavery thing. But they sort of brush that aside by showing she knows about it. It's not like her unaware. She's not unaware or anything. So that's like super well executed. I like Dietrich. He's a cool guy. Seems to, you know, just sort of want to be a chill older dude and get through the rest of his life. I don't entirely hate Iger. She needs to fucking come off her high horse, but besides that, she's, I don't know, there's promise there to have some sort of interesting character. And then Paul, I don't really know what his deal is. He seems a little weepy, but aside from that, I don't know much about him yet. Still. All right, well, we're going to call it here, and then in the next episode, I guess we'll go out to the streets. See you guys then.